Russian tanks push around Vilna to completely circle the city and spearhead their drive into East Prussia. The siege is a bitter battle. It was 5 days before the Russians were able to clear the last Germans from the town. The toll was heavy on both sides. Advance patrols met stiff resistance from snipers. Some buildings were bricked up with only slots left in the windows for last stand Germans. With the capture of the city completed, prisoners were taken by the thousands, many of them badly wounded. In this trap, the Germans lost uncounted equipment and troops and sealed their fate on the Eastern Front. With 35,000 Germans killed and more than 25,000 captured in this area, it was one of the decisive battles of the war. Mosquito and Beau-fighter bombers of the RAF are off for a stab at enemy shipping in Norwegian waters. These remarkable scenes were made by the Air Force cameramen as they came over the target. The ships throw back heavy flak as the planes dive down from 5,000 feet for the attack. Rocket-firing bullfighters give the ships a thorough plastering. On this mission, the RAF accounted for 6 ships loaded with vital war supplies for the Nazis. They had to run a gauntlet of heavy anti-aircraft fire from the snow-capped mountains surrounding the fjords, as well as from the ships themselves. But they have the pride of accomplishment in a job well done.
Arrival of the Jap in the Philippines spelled the end of liberal education. English and all things Occidental were barred. But now Leyte School children are re-entering the portals of free institutions of learning. Once again, uncensored information finds its way into their hands. The knowledge of the world, not the propaganda of Nippon. And here's a new wrinkle in school buses, the Jeep of all trades. The faith of their fathers has returned to supplant the teachings of brute force with those of a friendly land.
Members of the motion picture industry mobilized for the war on infantile paralysis. President Roosevelt told them that this year the need was greater than ever. Basil O'Connor, president of the Polio Foundation, pledges leaders of the movie industry, including Spyros, Skouras, and Nicholas Schenck, to work for the March of Dimes. Shower down, folks, and aid a worthy cause.
Mrs. Carlotta Oppenheimer typifies the war spirit of Britain's womanhood. Hands across the sea is her theme as she bakes cakes and dedicates the finest fruits of her garden to American troops stationed in England. In a spirit of appreciation, G.I. Joe helps feed the chickens, whose eggs are also pledged to the war effort. In the snug comfort of the Oppenheimer kitchen, a toast to their hostess. Fresh vegetables to warm a mess sergeant's heart. A load of good cheer for the Yanks from an English Lady Bountiful.
Southern beaches beckon and spring is just around the corner, according to these Halpert creations shown at New York's Hotel Pierre. a ballerina print is featured with a tricky mandarin bag. And if safety is your motto, here's a good little pin-up. Are you seeing your best beau? Maybe you're one of the studious type. Speaking of the South, which includes this Texas Miss and her circular rotating bag, wouldn't you love to be in Florida? The Greeks had a word for it. Our word for it is simply darling.
Over the roof of the world, a new air route from the Western Hemisphere to Russia and the Far East is taking shape in Canada. Airports and installations are springing up like magic along the Northwest staging route. Over some of the world's most forbidding terrain, this shortcut to the Orient is dotted with U.S.-built oil refineries to supply fuel for the route. More than 5,000 American-made Russian planes and others have been ferried over the airline. Russian flyers have become as familiar as Americans and Canadians with the Airway, the dawning of a new world crossroad. The air lane was pioneered by Americans and Canadians, and $39 million of the cost will be repaid by Canada, along with free use of facilities to the U.S. Bush pilots flying to remote gold mines blazed a trail that will become tomorrow's great skyway.